Tony McGill decides to divorce Caitriona Balfe because he can't stand her growing closeness to Sam. The penthouse on the 18th floor of a luxury apartment building in Notting Hill let in the early morning light through large windows. But the silence this morning was unusual. Tony McGill sat in a leather chair by the window, his eyes red as if he had been up all night. On the table was a stack of papers. The title caught his eye: Divorce Petition, Draft 3. Behind him came the soft sound of a suitcase being pulled. Caitriona Balfe, the woman he had once loved madly, walked out of the bedroom with her hair pulled back in a hasty bun, her eyes both apologetic and cold as the winter that never ended. "You didn't have to do that. It wasn't like this," she said softly. Tony didn't turn around. His voice was low and hoarse. "Isn't it? Isn't it about you and Sam? Or isn't it about how I've been erased from your world bit by bit over the past 3 years?" Caitriona didn't answer. She lowered her head. The UNFAKE companion. After the huge success of the final season of Outlander, fans around the world were shocked to learn that Sam Heughan and Caitriona Balfe would be reuniting for the feature film, The Language of Fire, a work of art set in post-war Ireland where the two main characters are lovers torn apart by social prejudice. What made audiences go crazy the most was not the script, it was the intense chemistry between Sam and Caitriona, something that could not be acted out. Behind the scenes, a video of Sam wiping sweat from Caitriona's forehead in the middle of filming went viral. She whispered something that made him laugh. Small gestures, short glances, but enough to make the online community explode. Tony is not online much. But that intimacy does not need social media to be recognized. He could see it clearly. Every night Caitriona came home later, every text she hid more carefully, and especially every time she mentioned Sam's name, her eyes lit up in a way they had never done with him before. The first confession. 3 weeks before Tony filed for divorce, they had dinner together, a rare occurrence since the beginning of the year. Caitriona sat across from him, serving him food as usual, but when Tony asked, "What do you think about our life together?" she put down her chopsticks, was silent for a long time, then said softly, "I think we're living parallel lives. I'm in a movie that never ends. And you're always standing outside, waiting for me to finish a scene so I can go home." Tony laughed painfully. "And Sam is my constant co-star in that movie, right?" Caitriona didn't deny it. Breaking news. On June 3, 2025, the Daily Express first reported, "Breaking, Tony McGill files for divorce from Caitriona Balfe after 5 years of marriage. Is it because of his relationship with Sam Heughan?" At the same time, Sam was photographed leaving Caitriona's apartment in the early hours of the morning by paparazzi. Although the two had never publicly announced their relationship, their long silence was the biggest answer. The newspapers quoted a source as saying, "Tony has suffered for years as he watched his wife become more and more attached to Sam." Although there was no evidence of an affair, for a man who loves too much, the feeling of being replaced is unforgivable. The unsent letter. Before leaving the apartment, Tony left an envelope on Caitriona's desk. "Cat, I used to think that love could endure everything, even the way you looked at someone else. But I was wrong. There are limits that a husband's pride cannot allow to cross. And you have crossed those limits many times without even taking a step. I don't hate Sam, honestly, I understand why you love him. Because I loved you like that too. With all the looks, all the smiles, all the sacrifices, but I'm tired, Cat, goodbye." Quote.